I'm the aquatic supervisor at the Edmonton Garrison Swimming Pool, and I really want to go and show you guys how to make these amazing tie-dye t-shirts. Especially since the summer's coming up, it's getting a little hotter, we definitely want something really cool to wear whenever we go to the beach. So the first thing that we're going to do is get all of our necessary supplies together. Now, for me that includes the white clothing and materials, some elastic, gloves, your coloring dye of course, and what I used is a garbage bag, but you really just want to set up your work surface to protect it with any kind of plastic table cover or a cover layer of paper towels, something like that so you don't get it all over the place. There are lots of different coloring dyes that you can use. The one that I chose was actually a pre-made kit, so it comes with the gloves and the elastics, but you can also get some really cheap ones that just go and come in a small box. All you would need is 1 tablespoon of the powder to 1/2 of a cup of water. And that's it. You just mix it up really well the exact same way, and you can use it in your own little bottle. Even a spray bottle works. And of course, the most important thing to get is your parents' approval. You have to make sure that your parents actually know what you're doing so that you're not making a mess everywhere. Throughout this video, we're going to be learning 2 different dyes. The first one is going to be the spiral dye, and the second one is going to be the lines. So for the spiral dye, you want to make sure that the t-shirt is laid out nice and straight. You're going to grip the middle just with your bare fingers, and you're going to start twisting in one direction. You're not going to change that direction until the whole shirt is surrounded and covered just like shown in the picture. Now that you've done that, it's time to put on your elastics. You can use as many elastics as you want, and I definitely suggest to get your parents' help for this because it can be a little bit difficult. But the shape does have to stay together. You always want that spiral. For both of the techniques that we're using, the tighter the elastics, the more white you're actually going to have. Now before I go on to actually show you the dyeing technique for the swirl, we want to make sure that we're actually tying the elastics for the lines as well so that we can get all the elastic parts done at once and then start the dye. We're going to start off again with the shirt nice and flat, laid out in front of you. You're going to fold it a couple times just so that it's smaller, you can kind of see where those lines are going to be. You can put those elastics anywhere that you want. Now I only decided to go and actually put 3 different lines on my shirt because I only have 3 colors, but you can put as many lines as you want as long as it all goes and fits on the shirt. Remember the kind of dyes that you have though, because you don't want to go and make too many patterns with it. You want it to look as cool as possible, but as well it's your shirt and you want it to be really unique and you. So do it however you want and whatever you think will look best. So now that we're all done going and tying our shirts the way that we want them to be tie-dyed, we're actually going to put on our gloves, and that's why I went and I held off for this time to put on our gloves, because you don't want to tie the shirts with these on. It just gets crazy insane. If you're not using that already made tie-dye set, you're going to want to take a full tablespoon of the dye and mix it with 1/2 cup of water. Just mix it really, really well, the exact same as what we would do with the pre-made. Next we're going to take our tie-dye. I'm just showing you with water right now because most of the time I tend to go and mix mine over the sink. Just because it's a little bit cleaner, you don't want to get it everywhere because it is permanent, it will dye your hands blue, you have to be really careful. So you're going to plug the top of it and make sure that you're shaking away from you. Shake for a good minute or so. You don't want to see any residue on the bottom of the container because sometimes the powder will sit there after you go and you put in the water. So make sure that you shake it really, really well. Just a little tip for when you're actually mixing the dye. For a lighter shade of color, add more water using an extra bottle if you really need it. Apply the dye within 72 hours of mixing. Dye left unapplied for 72 hours will begin to lose its concentration and result in a noticeably weaker color intensity. So it's going to be really, really light. So now we're going to jump right into that spiral technique. You have the shirt in front of you with the color dyes that you want. We're actually going to divide the shirt in almost like a pizza so that the colors are not going to be touching the exact same color. So as you can see, I have the pinks across from the pinks and the purples in between them. You're never going to have that mixing color then. Apply the dye on the fabric, checking to make sure that the dye has penetrated all the way into the folds. Do not oversaturate the fabric. If the dye is applied too close together, the colors may become really muddy. Now we're going to go over the line technique. Now, how I did this, I divided it into 3 different colors. But I really wanted a lot of my colors to blend together. If you want that white spot in between, make sure that you actually go and leave around 1 inch between the color and the elastic. That way you'll make sure to have that full white spot. The last thing that we're going to do is cover the dye fabric with plastic wrap, tin foil, or even a plastic bag to keep it damp. Let it sit for 6 to 8 hours or longer for even more intense colors. Rinse well with water until the excess dye is removed. Then you're going to try to wring it out. I usually rinse it 2 or 3 times to make sure that all the dye is out. And now that we have our shirts done, we are ready to go to the beach. Don't forget whenever you do go to the beach that a t-shirt's not going to be enough to protect you from the sun. You always want to wear that SPF 30 or higher, as well as drinking lots of water. And one of my favorite things about these tie-dye shirts is it's so easy to go and spot you as well as a friend if you tie-dyed with your friend, because everyone knows with the water safety messages that you have to go swimming with a buddy. So grab a friend to go and do this tie-dyeing with, and then you guys can head to the beach together and have a lot of fun. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I can't wait to make another one with you next week.